So our game is, if you guys recall from the first day, a networked online game, which means it runs through the internet. We're actually hosting the server on the ISI server, not located on this campus, which is pretty cool. So that's all working. But let's talk a little bit about our art pipeline, because we feel like that is a very strong part of our project. So we were gifted with a very awesome team of artists, and then they range from places like Burbank, Pasadena, in this area, all the way to Lithuania and the United Kingdom. So we have a terrific team of around 12 external artists who are able to get us these awesome art assets. And to go over really quickly how we kind of do that, we start with an idea. For example, this one, we want a really big laser. Then we shoot it to our, for example, this one is our concept artist in the UK, and we're like, hey, give us some thumbnails for it. So he drew some really quick thumbnails. Afterwards, we gave him some feedback. We said we really like part of number 3 and we really like part of number 1, so we stuck them together and you get that. And we were like, can you take this to the final concept? So he did. And then we're like, wow, this looks awesome. So we kicked it over to our 3D modeler in Lithuania, and he modeled that out, and now it's in game. And that's kind of how our pipeline works, is that we stagger the bandwidth between all these 2D and 3D guys and kind of pair them up so that we get assets on a rolling basis. Every week we'll get another maybe 2 to 4 assets of this caliber. So our game is becoming very populated, and we'll step through a little bit. Yep, thanks. So yeah, this is just an example. Some of our art assets are going in. Keep going until it ends. More art, more art, more art. That's it. All right. So we are getting our game up. So let's see if this works. I guess while setting this up, if our team would like to stand up or raise their hands, they're all over there in the back over there. You guys can't really see them, but you know, it's a small village back there of awesome people who were very well. All right, so this is a shipbuilder, and I am going to let Drew or Leonard, you guys want to talk about the challenges that you face in this project.
Yeah, so like Emery said, we've been building this as a network game from the ground up, which has been quite the challenge. The game is all about customization, appearance of your ships, being able to play in different ways, so getting that to work across a network is very challenging. How do we deal with all the different ship appearances? How do we deal with all the different ship behaviors? And how do we get this running from the very beginning through a network to a server? So I'm going to start by showing you our ship editor. For our midterm goal, we targeted 2 of every part for our ships. And this gives us, I believe, a total of 32 possible configurations, even with just a few parts like that. So it can get out of control pretty quickly. So the editor allows us to go through these parts in a very simple manner. I can change the chassis, swap the wings. You can make whatever combination of ship you want. So you can mix and match, you can make it look coherent, it doesn't really matter. So going from there, we can take the ships we make into the game. And right now, as Emery said, we are running straight through the internet off of a server hosted at ISI, which I believe is in Santa Monica. So, Marina Del Rey, okay. But we're not even doing LAN at the moment. We're going straight to the server. So this is what our game looks like, just simple, workable interface so that we can get different information about different parts and the ships. You'll notice that the 2 ships are different. These have been configured in the ship editor for each machine, and Arnold and Drew are actually shooting at each other right now through the server, playing on 2 different machines. So we initially started with UDK's built-in networking, which got us almost nowhere, and had to start doing all sorts of crazy things to get the parts to load in, because the local machines know what your ship is, the server doesn't. So we need to communicate that to the server and then go back to all the machines and load the right ships for each computer. So we've been working through that challenge and kind of have it working. things fell apart a little bit when we started testing across multiple machines. It becomes a much bigger challenge, exposes different problems. But we've got the fundamentals working. We can load in 2 different ships. We can get them fighting each other. Could you guys try and shoot some parts off of each other, maybe? So another key feature of the game is we have part-based destruction. So you put the ships together with parts, you can blow all those parts off of the ship. And they affect the ship in different ways. If you shoot the engine and lose your engine, you become crippled and move very slowly. If your wings get shot off, it becomes very hard for you to decelerate. There we go. So now you see on both machines the ship has lost its wing. We've actually got that being replicated through the network. Hold up for a second. So another thing we did, we're trying to get rid of this clunky UI and make a very minimalist UI. So part of our art style is we are using a toon shader with Sobel edge outlining. So you'll notice the ships have blinking outlines right now. By default, that's the black toon shader outline that you see in games such as Borderlands and Team Fortress. But we've actually tried playing around with it and making it change colors as a way of sending data or as a UI element. So right now, the parts begin to flash yellow and red when they get damaged, letting both the players know how damaged the ship is. You can see it across the network. Other things we've considered, it can be used for team colors. It's just a very minimalist, non-invasive way to allow us to represent things like this.
One of our team members is in this game right now in the audience.
Oh yeah, other people might be sneaking around out there. Anyone can log in with our build right now. You just have to connect to the Gladys server. We're not even sure what our player limitation is. Maybe we'll try and get a few machines on right now and see if we can break it. But oh yes, there is our replication failure. It goes back to the default queue. We don't have respawning in yet, unfortunately. That's on the short list. Yeah, networking is definitely the major bottleneck of this project. I don't know if many of you have worked on network-based projects before. Obviously, Project Holodeck is doing some networking with the Rift and their camera technology. It's very hard to get information through the network in a reliable way without slowing things down. One of the important things about the game that we focused on is smooth gameplay. You'll notice, or hopefully you've noticed, when the 2 ships are on the same screen, it's actually very hard to tell that you're playing over a network. There's a little bit of jitter, but they're moving relatively equally to each other. And that's straight through the internet already. So our worst case scenario would be cross-country or cross-world for those pings. I'm sure we're already looking at a 20 or 30 ping right now, just connecting to that ISI server. And we're running off USC wireless, which any game being run on wireless, if you played League of Legends on wireless, you know. So we've got a few other things in there. You'll notice the turrets are shooting at them right now. That middle point on the map is going to be a control point. Eventually we're going to funnel the players into fighting over these control points and objectives. The turrets here are now dead, but they were aggressive to both players. So the players are set to teams currently. You will be able to have friendly turrets. You will be able to destroy and capture turrets for your team. A lot of that works off UDK-based functionality, thankfully, so we don't have to worry about that too much. We started with a small map. This map is really meant to only accommodate probably 4 to 8 players tops. We're just going to grow that map out towards our goal of 8 on 8. Okay. Hopefully we can go further than 8 on 8. As we do this, we're starting to realize the technical limitations of networking are actually less than we expected. It's more just getting it to work, less of a concern of bandwidth, which was one of our earlier concerns. The prediction in UDK helps us a lot with that. We're using the built-in UDK physics. So it's simulated on both the client and the server. and corrections are only made to the client if for some reason it guesses wrong or lags or does something stupid. Which thankfully doesn't seem to happen too much with the UDK simulation. You'll notice also the game, we decided to go for a 2D approach to the game. Early on we considered lots of different approaches of 2D and 3D. 2D just seems to be easier to play. If any of you have ever played games like EVE Online or some old flight simulators, 3D controls aren't the easiest things to deal with. We want to make this game something that you can just sit down and play. Easy to learn, hard to master, maybe falling in between the competitiveness of League of Legends and just the join and have fun of Team Fortress. We've taken a lot of our inspiration from both of those games in the art style and the play style.
Hi, my name is Arnold. I am lead designer on the team. What you just saw, this is actually a placeholder 2v2 map that is made only for the designers to test out parts and objectives that we're possibly putting in the map. We are in development of an 8v8 map that's going to be presented on demo day with all of the objectives and everything that we're going to be putting on it. And we're going to have maybe about 20 balanced parts that are going to be fun to play with each other, and that offers a lot of customization and playability. And we're also probably going to put in about maybe like 10 core overloads. You didn't see any today, but they're going to be what the game is named after. So that's going to be the milestone for demo day.
Well, now we're going to show you some abilities on our local build. We're running short on time, but a lot of stuff has to be synced up over a network. But we hopefully can show you some. The gun isn't working, but so you can see the muzzle flash and everything works on the local, but not over the network. And there's all sorts of issues that deal with synchronization and replication over these. But yeah, if you guys brought your laptops, you could all join in and play right now.
Questions for the team? What was the most difficult thing you guys had to overcome in this project so far?
Definitely the construction of the ships and replicating those across the network. Throwing ships together on a local machine was hard enough by itself. These are general parts. All the main body cares about is what sockets do I have the parts can go into. We just take a part, put it on that socket, and it needs to look right and be oriented properly, be scaled properly, and then take that and add the networking into it and actually replicate all that data across the network and have all the ships on all the machines look correct is incredibly hard. Yeah?
Where would I go to download and join in?
We can send out a web link to the Google group. Right now, we are updating the builds about weekly on the ISI server, which we're running a FTP or web server off of, so you'll just be able to download it straight from there. It's about a 300 or 400 meg download because of the UDK package.
Disclaimer, we might not release it until it's
Yeah, no promises the server is always going to be up and running. We use it for testing too, but our goal is as soon as we feel that everything's replicating right and you kind of have a game there, we're just going to let people go at it and give us user feedback.
All right.